Welcome to the, it is Monday, the December 2nd, 2019 Frankfort Village Board meeting. We call this meeting to order and we ask our clerk, Jean Sabaria, to take the roll, please.
Mayor Holland.
Here.
Trustee Borelli.
Here.
Trustee Clavio.
Here.
Trustee Farina.
Here.
Trustee Ogle.
Here.
Trustee Petro.
Here.
Trustee Trevarthen.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on our agenda is what we call the unanimous consent agenda. All items on the unanimous consent agenda are considered routine in nature and will be voted on after a single motion. If one of the trustees wants to discuss one of the items in more detail, we'll just remove it from the consent agenda. So I first ask, do any trustees want to remove any items from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I will approve it.
And I'm second. We have a motion by Trustee Trevarthen and a second by Trustee Ogle to approve the consent agenda tonight. We do want the people here in our boardroom to know something about the items that we're passing. We want the people at home on television and on the internet to know something about the items too. So we'll just mention each one of them briefly. The first one is the approval of the minutes from our last meeting on November 18. The second item is the approval of the bills, and we'll go to our chairperson of the Finance Committee, Adam Borelli, for a report on the bills.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The bills tonight total $2,013,700.06. They're pretty substantial, so let me go through a few items. We had two invoices to J.J. Henderson, who is currently the contractor working on the north and west treatment plant closure projects. The first invoice was in the amount of $672,609.89. The second one was $496,178.76. Another big expense tonight on the bill list is a payment to P.T. Farrow, who is the contractor working on our resurfacing program for this year, and that amount is $381,438.57. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. And now we have a couple of items from our Financial Affairs Committee, and we'll go right back to Trustee Borelli for a report on those.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At its November 13th, 2019 meeting, the Financial Affairs Committee discussed the proposed 2019 tax levy for the Village of Frankfort. Finance Director Jenny Booth reported the preliminary equalized assessed valuation figures from the Will County Assessor showed an overall increase of approximately 3.79%. Following discussion, it was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the Village Board to request the 2019 tax levy in the amount of $3,189,451. Based on preliminary estimates and the property tax extension limitation law, the estimated limiting rate is calculated at 0.3381, and the amount requested will most likely be reduced by approximately $25,876 to $3,163,575. The village rate for 2018 was 0.3385. If the estimated rate of 0.3381 is correct, then there would be a rate reduction of 0.0004. The county will determine the actual rate based on final EAVs, the levy amount requested, and the limiting rate calculation. The second thing is a tax cap levy resolution is also presented, which provides for any possible tax cap levy reductions to be made in the corporate and police protection funds, subject to additional review by the village. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. And we have a couple of items from our Plan Commission report. We'll go to our Plan Commission liaison, Trustee Clavio, for a report on those items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight we have two items before us. It would seem based on these two items that we're getting ahead of the holiday 10 pounds to get back in shape here, because we've got two physical fitness type places here. The first one is Classical Martial Arts Academy, who requested a special use permit at 67 West Bankview Drive. The applicants, Magdalena and Tom Ravel, proposed to open a Classical Martial Arts Academy within the Frankfort Plaza Shopping Center. The village ordinance classifies the proposed operation as indoor recreation and entertainment, which requires an approval of a special use permit within this B2 zoning district. The applicants requested the granting of a special use permit for indoor recreation and entertainment to accommodate the Classical Martial Arts Academy. At its November 12th, 2019 public hearing on this project, the Plan Commission forwarded a unanimous 6-0 recommendation to the village board. So before us tonight is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting a special use for indoor recreation and entertainment to permit the operation of Classical Martial Arts Academy located at 67 West Bankview Drive in accordance with the reviewed plans and public testimony and conditioned upon the prohibition of tournaments and competitions. The second thing before us tonight, Mr. Mayor, is F45 training special use permit, which is proposed to be located at 11047 West Lincoln Highway. The applicant DY4 Athletics proposes to open F45 training, which is a team-based physical training facility. They will be located within the Prairie Crossing Shopping Center. Again, the village ordinance classifies this proposed operation as indoor recreation and entertainment, which requires a special use permit within the B2 zoning district. Extended hours of operation is also requested to permit opening at 5 a.m. The applicant requested the granting of a special use permit for indoor recreation and entertainment and extended hours of operation. Again, at the November 12th, 2019 public hearing of the Plan Commission, they unanimously recommended that 2 of their variances or special uses be approved. So before us tonight is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting special use permits for indoor recreation and entertainment and extended hours of operation at 5 a.m., opening to permit the operation of F45 training located at 11047 West Lincoln Highway in accordance with reviewed plans and public testimony. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, John, and those are all of the items on the unanimous consent agenda this evening. So before we vote on those items, is there anyone in the audience who wants to make a comment about any one of those particular items to the village board before we vote? Not hearing anything. Any questions or comments from the trustees? Trustee Borelli.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to point out on the property tax, we often receive complaints about the high property taxes here in Frankfort, and I'm not surprised, I don't blame them. But I just want to emphasize that the village's portion of the property tax, I calculated on my house last year was 3.9%, so it's a very small piece of our property tax bill. And also this board and several boards before this have continued to lower the actual rate on the village's portion of the property tax. And that's something we're continuing this year and hopefully we continue to do going forward. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. Good points. Anyone else? Then we'll go to our clerk, Jean Savaria, for the vote.
Trustee Clavio.
Yes.
Trustee Farina.
Yes.
Trustee Ogle.
Yes.
Trustee Petro.
Yes.
Trustee Trevarthen.
Yes.
Trustee Borelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item on our agenda is what we call the mayor's report. First item on the mayor's report is the tree lighting ceremony. Well, what fun that is. That's always the first Thursday in December. It will start at 6:30 at Brighter Green. This year we do have a brass quintet that's going to play, the Black Willow Brass, before the event begins and as Santa Claus approaches the stage. Then we will have the Hickory Creek Middle School Choir, and they will be singing as they have many times in the past. We're going to have refreshments there, the bonfire will be going, and of course Santa Claus will come. So that's a fun event for our community and usually a very busy one. The Frankfort Area Historic Society hosts their annual House Walk. That takes place this Friday, December 6th. Goes from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Tickets are $30, and you need to buy them in advance at the museum. They do sell out on this, and I think they have 6 houses this year. I think I heard somewhere 6. 6 houses, so that's pretty exciting. A number of them, I understand, are in the Frankfort's historic downtown. So that'll be a fun event, too. Chris Kindle Weekend is slated for December 7th and 8th. That's hosted by the Frankfort Chamber of Commerce and the Historic Business Alliance. That is on both the 7th and 8th, right, and it goes from noon to 4 o'clock. There's a cookie walk that goes on. There's a lantern parade with St. Nicholas on Saturday, a Secret Santa's workshop, horse-drawn wagon rides, and cookie decorating, and, of course, hot chocolate. Ring in the holidays with Midnight Madness. Well, no hot chocolate at Midnight Madness. That's a different event indeed, more for the older children. It will be hosted on December 13th. And that goes 6 o'clock to midnight. The sales in our downtown shops get a little better towards midnight. It really is a fun event. It certainly can be an event for the entire family. And I spent a considerable amount of time, and I suppose money, in downtown Frankfort this last Saturday, and there really are some great shops with great gifts for family members. So take a look at what downtown Frankfort has to offer. Reindeer on the Green. Well, now that's a new event. At least we're calling it new. There have been reindeer on the green before, but that's going to be Saturday, December 14th from noon to 2, and there will be 2 live reindeer. They actually go on the parking lot, not in the green, for probably very good reasons. But once again, we have the Black Willow Brass Quintet playing for us, and this time we have the Girl Scout Service Unit 718 will be singing Christmas carols. Now, if you've never seen or heard that group, that's a real operation. There must be 150 or so of these young ladies who are all trying to figure out how to sing together, and they've never practiced together, and this is the first time they do it. So it's great fun to watch. Holiday Beautification Award nominations are available on the Village website under Hot Topics, and award nominations will be accepted through December 17th. There's also a nomination form at the front desk. More importantly, if you have a neighbor or you see a business or you see an industrial business even or a retail business that's gone to a lot of extra work to put up tasteful decorations, then we want to recognize them, and that's what this is all about. We send them a nice plaque, a nice frameable thing to put up on their wall, and you'll find those around town, and it's a nice thing that we do. So that concludes the mayor's report, and we'll go to our Deputy Chief, Kevin Keegan, for the Police Department report.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Lincoln Way East football team. It was awesome to watch that on Saturday night from the comforts of my house, where I wasn't out in the rain or the wind. But congratulations to East. Also, Mr. Mayor, we've had several incidents of a man improperly touching women on the Old Plank Trail, and I wanted to let everybody know that on the 25th, we made an arrest in that case, and I would really like to take the time to thank the community for all the tips and leads that they provided to the police department, because that's what ultimately led to the identification and the arrest of this individual. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have.
Well, Kevin, and we thank you. Not only were our citizens and trail users active in this, but when the reports came into the police department, it sounded like you used great police procedures to set up a perimeter and start closing in on the location of this person so that he wasn't going to get away. And we have to thank our police for quick thinking and doing the right things there, and also our detectives and that group for getting the information, for processing the information and the evidence to end up with felony charges against this person. So be sure to convey our thanks. Thank you. And now for the village administrator's report, we go to our village administrator, Rob Pisha.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too also want to congratulate Coach Zavonar and football coaching program and the players for another great season. They did go undefeated for the whole year and culminated in a state championship. So I want to congratulate them on the tremendous effort. This is actually their second championship in 3 years, and they
Actually, could have gone last year, but they got eliminated in the semifinals. But again, 2 or 3 years winning the championship is quite an accomplishment for the program. And once again, highlights what is going on in our schools. I mean, we've had multiple occasions where our grammar schools have had championship programs, and it's continued through the high school, and it shows now with the football program. Also want to thank the police department for their efforts with the issue on the trail, and certainly I talked to the chief about that today and wanted to thank the public again. It's really what we've been asking to say, that it's the police department working in conjunction with the public that makes it effective, and I think it's a testament that the people took the time to call when something looked suspicious, and it did result in arrest and a successful arrest of the person. So again, thanks to the police department for their efforts, but certainly again, thanks to the public. Okay, I'm going to try to say that St. Francis Road is due to be open to 2 lanes of traffic. We're now slated for the second week in December for that to happen. Again, there's slight delays because of the way the weather has been unpredictable. But I was told today that they are on target. It looks like we're going to have a good week. The bridge structure has been poured. They're waiting for that to finally cure, and then they will put the bridge deck down and then open it up. So again, it continues to be moved out, but they still have the ability to do it, and I'm hoping that it will be completed so it can be open to 2 lanes for the winter and then finalized next year. And then leaf pickup is continued. Leaf and branch pickup have 1 more week this week. So crews will be out, so people have put stuff out. They will pick it up because of how the windy weather we had last week. And again, it looks like the weather will cooperate that we can get it picked up. But this will be the last week, as we will be changing completely over to the snow plows to be ready for winter. We just want to let people know if next week they end up wanting, if they bag their leaves, they don't have to put a sticker on them. And if they call us, we will come and pick the bagged leaves up. But like I said, 1 more week of leaf and branch pickup, and then we're finished for the season. And that's the end of my report.
Thanks, Rob. Did we get anywhere with trying to get Walnut Creek Drive open for the winter?
I'd rather not say till it actually happens.
Well, continue to work on that.
I'm actively working on it, Mr. Mayor.
Good, because it's certainly an inconvenience for
Correct.
those residents, and we are concerned about it.
Yes.
We want it to work, but it has to be safe. I
Yes.
understand that. So, for the attorney's report, we go to our attorney, Hannah Lamore.
No report tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Hannah. And that brings us to the part of our meeting we call Other Business. And this evening, we're going to start with Trustee Borelli.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to say, this is the start of probably my favorite week or 2 of the year. There's so many great events that the village puts on, and other, like the Frankfort Area Historical Society with the house walk on Friday. It was fantastic. The tree lighting on Thursday. We always have a great turnout regardless of weather. Kids always look forward to it. And all the different events. So I hope everyone takes advantage of it. It's one of the great things about living here in Frankfort. And I just wanted to also pass my congratulations along to Lincoln Way East. Dragged my daughter Bella to the game, and we had fun. We made it all the way through the game. So it was a lot of fun. Glad they won, and congratulations. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. Trustee Ogle.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things. Yeah, certainly Lincoln Way East varsity football state champs. Congratulations to all of you. We stayed at home also and enjoyed it from the safety and comfort from home. To cover a couple things, a few other people have already said. One is, want to thank the police and the community, working together, everybody working together on getting this guy caught. It's important for all of us to work together, see something, say something, but it's our responsibility, all of us, to keep our community safe and to look out for each other. So, again, very appreciative of what the police have done, and also the Forest Preserve was involved in the process, and a lot of people had their eyes out there on the street looking for this guy. We have some other issues that are out there too, and I'm confident that our police and the Will County Sheriff and New Lenox Police right now will be doing their best to bring these other people to justice as well. Couple heads up during the week, somebody asked me about the Route 45 bridge, and I think Trustee Kennedy had asked a few years back, when you drive underneath it, it just kind of looks like it's something from the 1800s. It's got the 1890s charm, maybe. That's those big wooden beams, but also that it's something safe. And I think this is also a big concern, as the I-80 bridge over the Des Plaines River seems to be in the news all the time, and just our overall infrastructure. But Rob and I had talked, our village administrator, and I think there was a report in 2016. They have a structural engineer come out and they check this. This is the railroad's responsibility, and it was fine. And there was a 2018 report as well, and we were looking to get a copy of that. But a resident had asked me, and actually a few other people then had asked about the bridge as well. But it is safe according to the engineers. And then another heads up, it just kind of popped up here too, and I think this had to do with possibly the Illinois State Fair. Some people there might have thrown a flag on that play, but there is a public act, Parking Excise Tax Act, and it's very broad and very vague, and one of the areas that it gets into is parking even on your own public property more than 3 cars, even if it's an hourly thing, and that there's a 6% tax and registration required with the Illinois Department of Revenue. So usually the Illinois Municipal League gives us a heads up on these sort of things, but this just came up, and Scott Reeder, a reporter from downstate, was writing about it, and the AP also picked it up. And where it might affect us is that we have parking for our festivals, Bluegrass, Fall Festival, and there is some information on that, and it's just something that we need to be aware of, and we probably need to make sure we get ahead of it. And some of the state reps are already looking at this, as they typically do with some of the bills that are pushed forward and don't have all the details worked out. And so it's going to fall on us, and make sure we protect our civics and also things that are important to us here for that. So that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Keith. Kind of interesting. Trustee Farina.
Thank you, Mayor Holland. I wanted to give everyone a reminder that tomorrow is Tiger University at District 157C. The first program will be at 12:30 at Grand Prairie, the second one 6 o'clock at Hickory Creek. It is on internet safety, and the Will County State's Attorney Investigator Megan Brooks will facilitate that meeting. I also want to congratulate and welcome Dina. She is our new building department code enforcer. So today was her first day, I understand, which is great. And ditto on Lincoln Way East and the high school celebrating another state championship. That's it, Mayor Holland.
Thank you, Margaret. And Trustee Petro.
Thank you, Mayor Holland. Also want to thank the mayor and the police department for holding the safety meeting. I think it really encouraged the community collaboration and helping assist in the arrest of the trail. So thank you to our police department and community for that. It is certainly my favorite time to live in Frankfort. I'm looking forward to some holiday traditions this week, including the lighting of the green. I've got my tickets for the Candlelight House Walk and the Cookie Walk. These events, they certainly highlight the charm of our community, and it will be a fun-filled weekend with my family. Congratulations to the undefeated state champions, Lincoln Way East, on their football. I did watch it from the home. It was certainly rainy, and I was hoping that they would clear that television screen a little bit more frequently. But just simply amazing accomplishment. So huge kudos to the team, and I hope that they're still celebrating. I read a great article today about them being the #1 team in one of the sports reporters, and I think they cited the record of 40-1 in the last 3 years, which is really quite incredible. So great showcase of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. And Trustee Clavio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I can just say ditto 5 times. Real quick, I won't go into it, but a ditto on Chief and DC for the trail arrest. You know, the press is all over us when we don't have someone in custody, but as soon as we get someone in custody, it seems like it's a non-event, so way to go on that. Ditto on the football team. I think they may be the winningest coach in the history of Lincoln Way High School, which is kind of cool. Ditto on favorite time to live here, the tree lighting, house walk, cookie walk, whatever. I assure you the cookies Friday night will be just awesome. That won't be a problem. And then welcome to Tina as our new code enforcement. But as a tie-up to all the dittos, you know, these are the reasons people move to our community, because this is what we have to offer. And this is the pride we have, and this is the fantastic part of being a resident and a trustee of Frankfort, is that we have these things that people can go to local, and people can take advantage of local. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, John. And Clerk Savaria.
Is it too late to say ditto 2 more times? Congratulations, Linkway East. Thank you to the Frankfort Police Department. But I also would like to kind of jump the gun and thank Trustee Trevarthen for his years of service. Sorry if I stole your thunder, but Dick, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Gene. And that does bring us to Trustee Trevarthen this evening.
You know, I guess everybody can hear me. I didn't think I'd have to make this announcement, but this is my last meeting this evening. I'm going to retire. I don't say resign, retire, as being a trustee for 32 years in Frankfort. And I haven't regretted it, I must say that, in very few words. And I've enjoyed it. I've never once gotten tired of standing up and saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. That I always thought that was my responsibility. And I'd like to first to thank all these people that have supported me, good or bad. I tried my best. I always came from my heart when I did what I was trying to do, you know. When you learn, after a while when you're in government, it takes a while to get stuff done. It doesn't happen overnight. And I think that's good, because if the time it filters out, it usually is a good thing, a good item once it's done. And I'm very happy to see this town just grow from 1,800 to 19,000. My first election was, I ran as a write-in, and I got 50 votes out of 350. So after that, in 71, the old boys come up to me the next election and said, maybe, son, maybe you do pretty good here. Maybe we'll see will you give you a try. So you'll run on our ticket this time. I said, well, fine. So I ran on their ticket, and there was no opposing ticket. There was only 3 for 3 seats. And I got on the board and stayed on there for a couple of years. Then I went off the board and went back on the board from 75 to 79. In 79, I don't know what happened. There's just too much, if you read my little dossier, just too much going on. And one evening, my wife, something's got to give, Buster. Something's got to give, you know. You can't do everything all the time. So anyway, I quit the board and then went back on the board in 93. And I've been on the board since 1993, solid. I haven't missed a time. And I'm always, I think one more time, it's okay. No problem. So I just kind of fell into it, I guess, and don't have any regrets at all. I had the opportunity to work with a lot of wonderful people. You know, it's amazing what you can learn if you can learn to listen. Listen slowly and speak softly. You can learn a lot in a hurry. I put out a little dossier here of some of my stuff I've done, and I forgot half the stuff I've done. But my health is taking me down a road where I have to take care of it now. And there's part of my health keepers out there. I don't know how many of them are here, plus another dozen of them. My house looks like a parade every day. People coming and going, doing something for me, you know. And God only knows how much I love them all. That's the best way I can get through them. I just grab a hold of them and hug them and tell them I love them and for the work they're doing for me. And I'm just kind of stabilized right now. I'm not going forward or I'm going backwards. And I keep saying, well, we'll see the next test where you're at. But it's a daily ritual, and it's a lot of work to keep everything going I've got going is for the health problems. And I could go on and on and on and talk about this board, but when I made those comments in my email, if you read my email, I do have a lot of passion for the town, always have had, and one hopes somebody takes my place has the same feeling about the village of Frankfort, and to go forward, and God bless them all. And I'm once again, it's a retirement, not a resignation. I don't know, I'm starting to rumble along, so I'll just sort of say I'm not too happy to go, but I've got to be happy. You got to be positive in this life, and so I've got to move on with my life. So, Jim, thank you. I don't know if you said enough or not. Thank you.
Dick, you gave a great presentation just right there about the sort of person you are.
Thank you.
And you're going to be missed by the people of Frankfort.
Thank you.
And certainly on behalf of a grateful public, we say thank you for all those years of service. We say thank you because our town looks better because of you.
Yes, thank you.
Landscape ordinances, a lot of the landscape work in places like right around this building at the Village Hall. You were very instrumental in adjusting the plans so they're appropriate for Frankfort. And that's very helpful to us. It always has been. But Dick, what I always appreciated about you is you came to every meeting, you listened to people, you politely listened over the years to what people were saying. But when it came down to it, you would take a stand on an issue. You would say, I'm going to vote yes or I'm going to vote no on this, and you would state why. And even in the face of significant opposition, you would say, I'm voting this way because I've listened to all the evidence, I've studied this issue, and I think that this is what's going to be best for the people of Frankfort long term. And you would do it every time. I could always count on you to think that way. Doesn't mean we always agree, but it certainly is appreciated the way your thought process worked. And I don't know if people know that you're, I guess we call you an agronomist. Wasn't your degree from Purdue in agronomy or something? Anyway, it's about agriculture, I think. But
Right.
You had sort of a specialty in turf, in
Yeah.
lawns, in grasses and such. And you put that to great work on one of the big institutions in Frankfort for some 30, I don't know how many years, 30-something years. Dick was the
35 at Prestwick.
35 years at Prestwick, from about the time it started until 35 years into its history. Dick was the key maintenance person there, taking care of that facility and making it really what it is today. And that's important to all of us. Anyway, Dick, it's appreciated. We would have appropriate plaque or something for you, and we will by our next meeting, and we'll go through a little process at that to say thank you, and with just some things that you can put up on your wall to remember.
Hang her up there and put lights on it, you know.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Anyway, thank you, Dick.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks for your
your comments.
Anyone else? Jessica?
You've been a staple, not only on the village board, but really in the community. And you've served this community just in so many different ways and have a lasting impact. I'll give you a quote. So, your greatness is not what you have, it's what you give. So, wishing you all the best, and thank you for all your years of service, Dick.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Trevarthen,
Yes.
I have known you for quite some time. I grew up with your son Michael, and spent a lot of time at your house growing up. Your house and Ron Friese's house is like
The second home to me, so I appreciate that. I appreciate the service you've done for the village of Frankfort all these years, and you have been on the board a long time. I remember in January of 1998, when you were at my swearing-in ceremony to become a police officer in Frankfort. So thank you again for everything you've done, keeping me on the right path, and everything you've done for the village of Frankfort. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dick, you've been obviously a tremendous asset to this community, and when I first got involved with the village, it was on the operations committee back in 2012, and you were chairing it. You've always been warm and welcoming and nothing but nice to me. Always listened to comments, as the mayor alluded to. Always kept the meeting in check. As soon as people started to go on tangents, you reeled them back in and kept that meeting focused. So I always appreciated that. So well prepared for every meeting. I could see all your notes. I couldn't read them, but there was a lot of notes that you had taken and written down before each meeting. And so thanks for your commitment to our village. You've definitely, your impact, I don't even know. I can't even understand how big it is. I know what I know, but I know there's a lot that I still don't know, and I can't wait to read through your accomplishments that you put down for us so graciously. And we'll also miss your landscaping tips. I don't mulch around my tree trunk anymore because of you.
I brought his tree back to health, right?
That's right. So yeah, and you helped me with my my oak, right? It had the iron deficiency, so you gave me those pellets, and it's come back to life. So thank you, thank you, Trustee Trevarthen. We'll miss you.
Thanks.
Well, Richard, I started the same way as Adam years ago, as just a member of the operations committee, that you chaired, and came to be a great friend, a person that I respected tremendously all along, and part of it was just your commitment to things, your commitment to this village, the work that people didn't see that you did, the time you put in, and your passion for it. And also, as the mayor stated, pretty much, you're part of that greatest generation, the straight shooter, the one that, what I say, that I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And you've always been like that. And another thing that I tremendously respect about you, and you brought great context to our discussions to understand where Frankfort had come from and how we put that together with where Frankfort is going. And I thought that was invaluable, and I've always been a big fan of yours because of that. I don't think we could have gotten through our largest public works project, the waste treatment system, without you having led that. A $60 million project, which is getting close to being all wrapped up. And I think you were the one that really helped keep us on track with that, and your devotion to this community. But also, I'm going to miss you on the board, having you here and on these committees. You've been a great friend, and thank you. Thank you. Thanks for all you've done.
Trustee Trevarthen, I remember the first time that I really got to listen to you and hear you. It was at a candidates forum 4 years ago at St. Peter's Church, and I remember leaving the church into what Trustee Ogle said, you were a straight shooter, and that's what I got as a voter and as a resident, and I appreciated that. You were a bit charming, too, I remember that evening. But as a newer resident, I know I'm among folks who've lived in Frankfort for quite some time. I grew up here like Trustees Borelli and Petro. My husband and I, we came to this community and we built our home, and it was a beautiful community. It still is a beautiful community, and it's because of people like yourself and others who've served on this board and staff as well who've worked hard to create this. And I appreciate it. My family appreciates it. We talked about all the events this month here in Frankfort and the beauty surrounding the holidays, and that's because of folks like you. And I want to also acknowledge that it takes so much work, and all those meetings that you've attended throughout your years, and it's a 24/7 job when you're a trustee or a staff member. And that's a lot of commitment, and I appreciate that from you. And also on a personal note, before my campaign, during my campaign, and then even coming on board, you always answered the phone and talked to me, gave me advice, shared your perspective and everything, and I really appreciate that. The mentoring is important, I think, in positions like this, and you will be missed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I guess that leaves me. I feel like I should give a last-minute landscape tip. Because that would be true Dick Trevarthen. Dick, I want to thank you for your commitment. I can go ditto down the line here as well, but one of the things that I absolutely love and hope that I can learn from you is your straightforwardness, your candidness, but yet did it with tact. When you decided we were done discussing an issue, we were done discussing that issue, and we were going to vote. But you didn't insult people. You did it with tactfulness. You did it with respect. And you made it known that we could sit here all night and discuss this, but we're going to come up with the same outcome as what we were going to be 4 hours earlier.
Time to shut it down.
And I think myself and for my fellow trustees, fellow staff, we can learn a lesson from you right there. If we copy that going forward, it's a legacy for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Gene, Rob?
The only thing I'd like to say is that my biggest disappointment is I'm coming on as you're leaving, and unfortunately I won't have the honor and privilege of, you know, gaining your knowledge and stuff as I move forward, you know, as clerk or whatever else the future brings. So.
And certainly, I would be remiss, and I just want, again, it's hard to, you know, not say what had already been said about you, Dick, but it's really the fact that, you know, the knowledge that you bring and the fact is what you have done for the community beyond just sitting on the board and that kind of thing. I think people don't know that, I mean, the part that you played in, you know, when Frankfort boys baseball was kind of, you know, just getting started, and, you know, all the construction of the fields and the things, the gifts that you gave the community, and just the fact that you as a person and what you were willing to do and to give of your time, I think, and the fact of sitting on a board, as anybody will tell you, I mean, as far as being on an elected position and your willingness to serve your community, I think it just speaks volumes about who you are. But basically, again, as everybody said, is just your straightforward attitude, and it wasn't like you had to worry that, you know, you were saying one thing and meant something else. You meant what you said, and that's a true testament of your character about who you are. And again, I have to say, I've been here for 33 years, and you've been a big part of the board while I've been working for this village. And you were actually got re-upped on the board when I got promoted to sergeant. So it was you were one of the board members that helped swear me in as a sergeant in my career. So again, I just want to thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you, sir.
So thanks, Dick.
Thank you.
There is a technical process here that state law requires, that when a trustee resigns, the mayor, with the advice and consent of the trustees, appoints a replacement within 60 days. So we will start that process promptly tomorrow. There will be an application for the trustee position on the villageoffrankfort.com website and available at the front desk here at the Village Administration Building. Anybody who is a registered voter in Frankfort is eligible as long as they haven't been convicted of a felony. But most of our residents are very eligible. And we will go through that technical process, Dick, so that's what'll happen.
When is the next election?
The next election is in 2021 in April. So the term will go essentially until that person who is elected during that election is sworn into office, typically on April 30th.
Then they got
of
time to get
2021.
well, they don't, before I run that time.
Yeah, they have some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that brings us to the part of our meeting we call public comments. And certainly we have a number of Dick's family members here. If any of you would like to say anything, that would be fine. Or anyone else. Are there any public comments tonight? Please, Mike.
They say plenty.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Board. I couldn't pass up this opportunity to come here tonight and thank my good friend for the number of years that you have served our community. He moved here as a young man, started raising a family, went to work at Prestwick and made it into what it is today. As Rob said, he's worked very diligently with the Little League and got that started. But most of all, we'll remember for what you've done for this community, Dick. Our residents are so fortunate to have had you serve for so many years. You know, Dick and I share one trait together. We're both Hoosiers. And I think we kind of believe in telling it the way it is, right, Dick? And we don't try to sugarcoat things, but as Rob says, when we tell you, it's what we believe.
Yeah.
You are my best friend, and I do thank you for all you've done. This community is so much better because you have served on this board for so many years, Dick. And like I said, I didn't prepare anything tonight. I just wanted to come and thank you, Dick, for all that you've done. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mike.
Anyone else? Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned.